What's up, Michael? How you doing? Yeah. Do you still hear it now? It could be this fan I have going. Okay. Might have been my phone too close to the laptop. Hey, I was just waiting to see if anybody else was gonna pop up here. Did you get a chance to see Infinity War yet? Yeah, I was gonna do a regular review, but so much to talk about with it that I decided to, just do a live stream and, kind of make it a discussion and a bit of a back and forth with you guys. Yes, it wasn't really what I was expecting going in. Pretend you saw it, but yeah, it was a good movie. It definitely felt like a payoff for the 10 years worth of films leading up to it. It's just the big dude did the thing. Yeah, yeah, the big dude did some things. It was, I don't want to say it was disappointing, but it could have been better in some aspects. But for the most part, I feel like they really did a good job with juggling all the different characters and different plot points and everything like that. Um, yeah, starting off, I would say the beginning. I feel like the beginning was a bit typical. Years of mental abuse from those. What you mean? What, people make fun of you for liking the movies or something? You're a comedian. Oh, you should have had tough skin then. Oh, okay, you just playing. Yeah. But yeah, I would say the beginning, yeah, pretty much played out the way I was expecting it to. Like Loki, Loki dying in the movie. I feel like they they pretty much forced that to kind of happen because it's like at a point it got kind of quiet and you kind of forgot he was there for a second, and then he kind of just hops out and like, oh, starts chatting a bit, and then he tries to attack Thanos, but it really didn't make sense for him to do that because even if he was successful in stabbing him, you still got four other people behind you that you got to deal with. The Hulk, he's down at this point. Thor, he's down. So I don't think it would have did much good. So ultimately, that all just pretty much played out for him to die, and it kind of made it hard to feel anything for it because I just saw it coming. It's like at this point where we making it too obvious that this is the end result here, and as I ultimately just didn't care that he died. But I know, it was the crowd that I watched the film with. They care, like they got a big reaction. A lot of like, oh no, But me personally, I saw it coming. Like, okay, but I didn't like how they handled the Hulk here either. That was pretty bad. I would, okay. I don't want to say bad because I understand the logic behind it. Like they wanted to, the Hulk, he got the shine and Thor Ragnarok. He played a big role in that. So giving Mark Ruffalo a bit of a time to shine. In this one, it makes sense, but the way they did it, I feel like they could have handled that a little bit better. Him, his fight with Thanos in the beginning was okay, but it really didn't sell the point that how you doing, Driver Family Vlogs? They part of the Small Squad. Shout out to the Small Squad. Yeah, you like the thumbnail? Yeah, that's I made that like I want to say a couple days ago. What I'm saying, I've been holding on to that picture for a while. I like a lot of the posters and artwork they put out. We got Anna in the chat. What's up, Anna? Small Squad. But yeah, what was I saying about? Yeah, the Hulk. He he came out strong. Thanos he kind of put the hands on him a bit. They wanted to showcase that Thanos was strong and a bit of a skilled fighter. So the Hulk pretty much served that purpose as far as getting beat up by him and stuff. And for him to not want to come out for the rest of the movie, I just didn't feel like he did him that bad to for him to not or to be scared, or they just didn't sell me on the idea that he was scared of him at that point. He got beat up. There's no denying that. So I guess you could argue like, oh well, he's never really been beat up like that before. So that kind of shook his confidence. But I I feel like just take it to the max with that. Like break an arm, break a leg, or something like that. Something to really justify this character not wanting to come back, because you've kind of seen him rise to different challenges, especially in the Incredible Hulk movie. He kind of had a tough fight there, so I feel like he would be able to bounce back from a small loss like that. But what else? What happened from there? Yeah, from there, you pick at the story. Okay, I don't want to go through the whole thing like beat for beat, but um, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of okay. I'll address the things that I've been hearing a lot of people have problems with in their reviews. Like a lot of people are really didn't like the way the scene on Titan, or the battle on Titan, the way that played out. A lot of people are mad at StarLord for his reaction there. And for anybody that didn't see the movie yet, I I feel bad. I don't want to just be spoiling things for people, but I mean, that's why I did this, so I can really go in depth and just have a full discussion about it. So I guess, but yeah, his reaction to finding out that Gamora died, or that Thanos killed Gamora, he had a real reaction. And a lot of people felt like he was out of character for that, or he was an asshole, or that douchebag and all of that. And I understand, because yeah, they were close to getting the gauntlet off of him. And if he would have held off on that for a few more seconds, or a couple minutes longer or whatnot. But at the same time, he's not thinking rationally. And if you look at the story, especially going back to the first Guardians film, he when he hopped out of his ship to save her when she was floating around in space and she almost died, then I feel like they pretty much laid the groundwork for that. So when you get to this moment in Infinity War, it's believable, because yeah, he cares about her. And then throughout the course of Infinity War, they kind of set that up where the moment he finds out about this, he's going to have a strong reaction to it, because we've already built up to this. And throughout the movie, he doesn't want to. He's not looking to go confront Thanos. He doesn't want to really cross paths with him. He doesn't want to confront him in any way. But once he gets a hold of Gamora, his motivations change. So now he's not really going to stop Thanos from getting the Infinity Stones and all of that. He's more so trying to save Gamora. So the second he gets on Titan, he's attacking Iron Man and them, because he doesn't know who they are, and he thinks they work for Thanos. So he's like, where's Gamora? And then when they finally catch Thanos, or restrain him a bit, everybody else is trying to get the glove or restrain Thanos. And Star Lord, he's asking where Gamora is. So when he finds out that she died, and he has that response, I feel like the movie already set that up, so it should have been understandable at that point. And I was telling a couple people I'm in a group with on Facebook that yeah, if you want to blame somebody in that incident or in that instance, I would say Doctor Strange, because he literally has the time stone, and he's the master of the mystic arc. So if he wanted to put a binding spell on StarLord, or freeze time, or rewind time back into that moment, or, he could have did. He had several options he could have did in that to combat that, but he didn't. And yeah, I didn't come away from that saying faulting anybody, but I mean, if we're gonna make the argument for somebody being at blame, I wouldn't let it fall on Star Lord, because like I say, he's having an emotional reaction to finding out that somebody he loved died. Just like anybody else. And that's no different than Iron Man's response in Civil War when he found out Bucky killed his parents. Although it's technically it wasn't Bucky's doing, or it wasn't his fault, but in that moment he didn't want to hear that. He wasn't listening to anything Captain America was trying to say. He wanted to he acted out emotionally. So I don't understand Star Lord getting all this hate and all he killed everybody, it's his fault and all that. Not really. Not when you really stop and think about it. But, yeah. Speaking of Gamora's death, I feel like that was one of the more impactful scenes in the movie, because she she pretty much lost hope at that point, and then when she realized that Thanos intended to kill her to get the Soul Stone, it's like, yeah, that's pretty rough. And then they show her, they make the whole scene dramatic with her being thrown off the cliff and everything. It's like, I'm not tearing up, but it's like, yeah, it's a pretty heartfelt scene, and it's rough to watch. And from that moment, I'm pretty much anticipating how Star Lord is going to react to this. Um, Before I get too far along, I do have some problems with the movie. So it's a good movie, but it's definitely not perfect. And some of the things that stuck out for me, personally, like I said, I wasn't too happy with the Hulk situation, but the biggest problem for me was the Wakanda battle. In Black Panther, they showcase all of this technology that Wakanda has, and they're so technologically advanced, and they have all this weaponry and all of these things. But when we get to Wakanda and Infinity War, their only defense is a force field around the city. So once they let the Outriders and the Black Order inside the force field, it's a ground fight. And it's like, what happened to the ships and the weapons and the guns and hell, the rhinos? They don't use any of that. It's immediately a foot race and a hand to hand battle. And I thought that didn't make much sense, but I guess for the story they're trying to tell, I guess it's okay. But that did strike me as odd. When I was watching the film. Um, what was oh, the Black Order. I felt like the Black Order characters were pretty good here. Yeah, yeah. Black Panther dies and Vision dies. Black Panther surprised me. It kind of went both ways. Like the way the scene was set up, I thought his general was gonna be the one to fade away, but because I understand they wanted to go with shock value, which understandably it worked. So I'm like, when I saw him fade away, I'm like, whoa, like okay, wasn't expecting that, but obviously he's going to be back somehow in the next movie. So that's it works in the context of the film, but especially with me knowing how the movies work, and how they work to set up things for the future and all that. It didn't really strike me as sad. It was just more so shocking. Like, oh, I wasn't expecting them to pull the trigger on him exactly, but in the context of the film, it works. What was Yeah, back to the Black Order. Like I said, they were pretty good in the film. Their initial introductions were okay. Ebony Maw, I felt like he was best represented here. Um, I didn't like the way he went out though. That's my problem with the Black Order. I didn't like the way any of them were pretty much taken out. They had a good run for a second, and they had a nice introduction. You really get to see what their powers and skill sets are, but the way they're killed off was kind of disappointing. Like they went out kind of easily. Like you know, you probably seen the clip online with um Captain America and Black Widow and Falcon fighting against Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. And yeah, that scene pretty much goes the way it's that the clip that you get. That's pretty much how that scene plays out, and that was kind of disappointing because these both are pretty strong characters, and for them to be, I understand, Captain America and them kind of had the numbers, they had teamwork on their side, but these are some pretty strong characters themselves, and in the comics it really took a lot to kind of bring them down. So I was expecting it to be more of a struggle to overcome them a bit, and they all pretty much got overtaken pretty easily. Yeah, we definitely know Black Panther's coming back, which like I said, they knew that going in, and same with Spider Man. But in the context of the film, the overall shock of seeing them being part of the people who get killed off, like I said, it was shocking. So it worked in that regard. Um, Yeah, I would say a lot of the deaths, didn't impact me emotionally, but some of them shocked me, like Black Panther, Spider Man. I was expecting Spider Man to be one of the ones to kind of die going in, just off like I said, shock value. I understand that that would be as shocking to the general audience and people not expecting him to die because it's Spider Man, but his death was it was a bit emotional. I actually saw the movie 3 times at this point, so I would say the second time his death, well, the second and third time his death, pretty much was impacted me emotionally more so than the first time. The first time I was just kind of shocked, like, oh wow, so they really are killing Spider-Man. I didn't know they were gonna do that for sure. I just suspected if anybody, but when they went with, I was still kind of shocked that they killed Black Panther at that point. So when when you see Doctor Strange and then all of the Guardians of the Galaxy die outside of Rocket, that was shocking. And then Doctor Strange dies, and then you get Spider Man right at the end. It's like wow, that was it was like the hits kept coming. On top of the deaths we already got leading up to that. The Vision, he could have been a bit better represented there, but he got stabbed through the chest, and that was the reasoning for why he wasn't at full power for most of the film. But I just felt like we kind of got cheated with that because he was underutilized in Civil War, so I was hoping to see him really put up a fight this time around, and he's more so fighting out of desperation. You don't really get to see him hold his own very much, and that was a bit of a disappointment, but it didn't bring the film down or ruin it or anything like that. But like I said, going in, that was one of the things I was hoping and expecting to see. Yeah, you guys got to excuse the beard. Yeah, I do need to pay my barber a visit, but you know, between cranking out reviews and getting up to see Infinity War a couple times, I really haven't had that kind of time. Yeah, yeah, and it was emotional in a lot of parts. I felt okay. Well, coming out of it, I would say the characters that I felt the worst for would be Thor and Iron Man, and and yeah, probably Rocket. I'm saying Rocket, but okay, but what was I about to say? Yeah, yeah, like Thor, his arc in the film, he kind of gets redeemed towards the end, but seeing him talking to Rocket and kind of breaking down, crying, talking about how he's lost everybody, he lost his brother, he lost his father, his sister, his mother, he lost his best friend and all of that, and he pretty much don't have anything else to lose. I felt bad for him. I felt like he kind of got hit the hardest, throughout the film. And Iron Man, I felt bad for Iron Man because it's like he pretty much got dealt a bad hand where he's been expecting this since the Avengers, and then everybody he's pretty much teamed up with, like he's trying to keep Spider-Man from coming in and being a part of the the battle in space, but Spider-Man comes anyway, so now he has to look out for him. He feels responsible for him. Doctor Strange, he tried to get him to fall back because he has the Infinity Stone or the Time Stone. He doesn't listen, so ultimately that's how he ends up on the spaceship because Doctor Strange ends up getting caught, and so now he's stuck in space with Doctor Strange and Spider Man. So he's like, okay, well, our best play is to just go take Thanos on head up, catch him off guard, and then that's where they meet up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which was the Guardians. I feel like they were probably the best represented here as far as continuity wise. They pretty much stayed true to their characters in a lot of regards. Their introduction, they get a really cool introduction scene with a with an old school song playing, just like the other two movies. And they get a lot of the humor came from their interactions with the other people, like their interactions with Thor and their interactions with Iron Man on Titan was some of the funniest scenes in the movie. Um, but yeah, like I said, he just kind of had to juggle a lot of different personalities, and nobody was really listening to anything he was saying. You had Doctor Strange not listening, so now we stuck in space. You had StarLord and the Guardians not listening and cooperating. Crowd reaction on that was um uh, I might have to cut the stream out a bit early. It's starting to thunderstorm. So if it cuts out, we could just pick back up tomorrow. I'll just do a traditional review later in the week. But um, what was I saying? But yeah, I just felt like once you get to the end of it, you just see Iron Man there, and he's just kind of mentally devastated by everything. Everybody else is dead except for Nebula. And he tried and fought so hard to try to keep it from going there, and then it just nothing he could do. That was nothing he can do about it. He couldn't control the personalities of the people he was with. He couldn't really get everybody on board or on the same page as far as how to handle this threat. And once Doctor Strange, when he fades away and dies, I felt like that was I wouldn't say the most impactful, but that was the one that kind of made the situation look the most bleak going forward for me because he was such a key player in this. So it's like once he fades away, it's like okay, well they're really gonna be in trouble going forward. It's like you get the base Avengers, the original Avengers, but at the same time I mean, Doctor Strange had a lot of knowledge, about how to handle these things and how to combat Thanos, and you had the ability to use the Time Stone to go forward and everything. So losing him, I feel like that was a big loss going forward. But on the trade off, you do get Captain Marvel in the next film. So I'm interested to see how things play out in the next film because the way things end here. I really don't know how to approach the next film or how they would go about approaching the next film because Thanos his gauntlet is pretty much damaged. I don't he still uses it to get to escape in the end after he snaps his finger and starts to kill half everybody in the universe. So I guess it's still functional, but it was visibly damaged. His arm was pretty much burnt. I don't know if that came from the Infinity Gauntlet or that was from Thor's initial attack on him, but like I said, I'm not sure how that's going to go. And he's on a distant planet somewhere. He's like on a farm on some planet somewhere watching the sunrise. So I wouldn't even know how they would go about getting to him or tracking him down. So I literally don't have a clue how the next film is going to play out, or how they're going to go about that, or how they're going to integrate Captain Marvel and everybody. Um, like I said, I try not to theorize too much about stuff like that or speculate. Just kind of take what I like. I'll speculate a little bit once I see a trailer or something, but initially I don't really just throw like wild ideas or half thought ideas out there or anything like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. Like I said, I'll do a real review for it because this was just random thoughts. My thoughts were all kind of all over the place, but um, yeah, it's starting to rain outside. I don't know how bad my signal is gonna get. So thank you guys for checking in. Everybody from the Small Squad, definitely appreciate you guys stopping by. And yeah, I should have a traditional review out for it probably tomorrow or Friday at the latest. So be on the lookout for that. Thanks again for everybody who stopped by and supported the stream. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later.